Welcome to Bookish Quest and Body Reps, the series where I don't just give you a book review, I give you workouts that you can do to train like you are going to be sucked into that fantasy world. Full workout will follow after this review, and today we are discussing Stuck Over Heaven by author Tyler Tarter. Now, if you haven't heard of it, let me just give you a little bit of what you can expect to find in this book. After several years of fighting as a nameless soldier in the overcities, Everune Penhatris finally retires from the military and has started a new path to vengeance for his murdered family. With the help of exiled goddesses and other mercenaries, he begins his war against an all-powerful crime guild to get his justice. Now, what I like about this book is it is a little sci-fi, a little fantasy, so if you're new to sci-fi, this is a good way to dabble your feet in if you're coming from a fantasy point of view, or on the other side, if you're more of a sci-fi reader, you want to dabble in fantasy, you have that here. And what I like about this is the magic system and the religious system are super intricate and detailed and very unique. If you're interested in a little bit more of that backstory, I do have an author interview with Tyler up as well, where you can find out a little bit more of what that is and how that got started, or you can read the book and find out for yourself, or do both. One of the things that I love about this book is from the very beginning, we are sucked into the action, ready to go and fight along beside Everune. Within like the first 10 pages of this book, I already had 2 pages of notes for workout ideas on top of the action-packed adventure that kicks us off. So one of the first things that we see is that he's in a new city, starting a business, and everything is not going according to plan because there are thieves and crime guilds, and you can be attacked at any moment and you have to be ready to go. And he is in fact ready to go. And we should always be prepared for that shift from everything is normal to chaos is coming when it comes to any kind of fantasy world, which is why having some kind of quick little like pre-workout meditation is going to be key for that. That just kind of helps us shift gears from busy day in the office, busy day fighting crime, to battling our enemies in a fantasy world or on the cityscapes of an urban environment. Urban warfare, my friends. Some of our workouts will involve that as well. Now, another thing that I like about this book is there is a touch of romance, not a lot, so we get a little bit of romance, but really the focus of the book is on finding vengeance and finding hope within that vengeance. So we'll see as he goes along, starting out on his vengeance quest and his master plan, that as he starts to uncover some of the clues that lead up to who murdered his family, that maybe all of it isn't as it seems, and the people he thought responsible maybe had some backers behind them, and I absolutely loved that. Another thing that I love about this book is the foreshadowing that you don't realize is foreshadowing. So there are places in this book where you learn a little bit more about his history and his past, and when you get to certain points of his current future, his current reality, and you realize what that foreshadowed, it clicks. So instead of like having to reread and being like, oh, I see where that came from, like sometimes if you're doing fantasy books, when you get to like the big reveal, you're like, all the pieces click together, which is awesome. Another thing that I like about this book is you can see the armor on the front. It kind of gives me like Warhammer vibes if you're into that or know what that is, whether it's the book series with the tabletop game, or I think one episode of Level Up. But anytime we are training with armor, which is not something we have come up against yet in our fantasy world, any kind of weighted vest or backpack is going to help you train for that, because adding any kind of body weight to your body is going to add resistance and increase your cardio needs. So when you're walking around in a weighted vest, or if you don't have one, throwing on a weighted backpack, you can just pretend that you are practicing training for wearing armor. And armor is always a really good idea in any kind of fantasy realm, whether it's sci-fi or more fantasy-based, because let's face it, we have a lot of soft spots, and that armor is going to protect it. Again, I did mention the religious system. What I like about this is that the gods aren't just up in the sky and like figments of your imagination, if you will. They are living, breathing entities that do take part in the book. So we have 2 that are featured with our main character, who he takes with him. They're his friends, his companions. He's their high priest, but it's more a friendship type relationship, or more like brother sister. So we get to see these gods interact in more of a familiar way than in like, I am your overlord or I am all powerful type situation, which was really awesome to kind of see the dynamic of gods played out in a book series. And finally, as we are wrapping the book, it does end on a tiny little cliff, but that's not a problem because it wraps up enough of the plot points to hold you over until book 2 comes out. This will be a trilogy, but as we're getting more into that sci-fi type workout, blaster training is going to be another key one. Now, I will tell you that as I was doing this workout, which was a first for me because we have armor and we have guns and we have urban warfare. And when you start Googling those things, you probably get put on a watch list. So I have joined tons of my favorite authors in these watch lists for Googling things that I needed to understand a bit better. But as again, I do call in some experts. I did ask some military friends for some feedback, did accidentally consult some government and military websites because urban warfare is an actual thing that you can study. So again, if you're my FBI agent, it's for the book, okay? For the book. But without further ado, let's get into what that workout will look like. And as a founding author of Fantasy, Fitness, and Food, you can read this book right along with us and get 6 full workouts that are highlighted a little bit in this video, recipes themed directly to the book, and 2 mini challenge walking quests if you are not quite up to wearing armor or battle training. We can start working on your cardio and strength with those walking challenges to get you ready to start battle training because we all start somewhere. So I will see you on the training field for our first ever fully armored blaster training. Welcome to your urban training. Here, you can make this a little bit fun by adding your weighted vest for your body armor and using the things around your house, whether it's your stairs, your hallway, to duck and sneak as you do these workouts. And if you like this and you want more, this is a featured book in Fantasy, Fitness, and Foods. We have a full 6 workout program and walking quest to go along with this. Now, to start your workout, we're going to need to work on holding our blasters up in that muscular endurance. So we're going to start with some side raises with a 10-second pause at the top to really get our arms trained to hold our blasters in that ready position. Switch into those front raises again with that 10-second pause at the top for the same reason. It's not about strength and how much we can lift, it's about how long we can hold our blasters up. Wrapping this up with some shoulder presses for the same reason. Again, 10-second pause at the top to really get our arms used to holding our weights up and ready to go and not just that lift up and down. After this, we will put our weights down and do some lunge walking. You're going to notice with urban type warfare that there is a lot of ducking and covering. So working on those lunge walks get us used to those positions of coming down and coming up and moving in squat and lunge position. Then to wrap this up, you can grab an agility ball, put your body armor on, and just have some fun.